Welcome back, everybody. It's Mike here and Hannah, too. And we are so ready for another deep dive with you all.
Yeah.
This time, we are going to be exploring the world of the Amish.
Specifically, their unique approach to homesteading in a modern world.
Yeah, it's a fascinating contrast.
Isn't it?
You have this group dedicated to simple living, yet they're thriving.
In a society that's all about pushing the limits of technology.
Exactly. And we have got a great mix of sources to kind of help us unpack this a little bit. We got some articles on modern-day homesteaders,
Oh, cool.
some historical insights into what homesteading looked like back in the 1800s, and even some information about Amish practices from Wikipedia.
A great blend of the practical and the historical,
Yeah.
which should give us lots of interesting points to connect.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. The Amish are well known for their dedication to homesteading, but it's not just about churning butter and growing their own food.
Right.
It's deeply tied to their core beliefs.
Absolutely. Values like
Yeah.
humility and Gelassenheit, submission to God's will are central to their way of life. They see pride and arrogance, what they call Hawkment,
Okay.
as something to be avoided.
And that's reflected in their approach to just about everything, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
From their clothing to their use of technology.
for sure.
There's this sense of intentionality of choosing a simpler path.
And what's interesting is this simplicity isn't about rejecting progress entirely.
Right.
It's more about carefully evaluating how technology impacts their community and their values.
Right. I was reading that some Amish communities utilize diesel engines for certain farming tasks, but you won't see them riding around on tractors with rubber tires.
Interesting.
It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot where technology serves their needs without compromising their principles.
And even within the Amish community, there's diversity in how they interpret and apply these principles. We see this reflected in the different branches. You have the Old Order Amish,
Right.
the New Order, and the Beachy Amish.
Yeah, it's like shades of gray within a shared belief system, right? So you might have the old order Amish who strictly avoid cars, electricity, telephones, the whole modern tech package.
Then you have the Beachy Amish, who are more open to incorporating those technologies into their lives.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Even the old order Amish, known for their stricter interpretation, show remarkable adaptability.
Oh, really?
They're not opposed to using technology strategically when necessary.
Okay.
They'll hire drivers for transportation, utilize payphones, or even employ non-Amish individuals to handle tasks that require technology. This pragmatism seems key to their survival.
It seems to come back to that central question of impact. Does this technology threaten our community, our values, or our way of life? If so, it's probably a no-go.
Right.
If not, it might be worth considering.
This careful approach to technology extends to their choices about work and livelihood as well. Now, the average American might be a teacher, a doctor, an accountant, occupations that often rely heavily on technology and information. But for the Amish, their occupations lean heavily towards manual labor. Farming, woodworking, carpentry, those sorts of trades.
Occupations that allow them to work in harmony with their values, using their hands, creating tangible goods, and relying on their community for support.
It's a real contrast to the individualistic nature of modern society, isn't it?
I think so.
They're not just working to earn a paycheck.
Right.
They're working to sustain their community and way of life.
And the women play a crucial role in this too. They're often involved in cottage industries like quilting and baking, contributing to the family income and strengthening the community fabric.
Which brings up the question of survival in the 21st century. While they're incredibly self-sufficient, it's not without its challenges. For instance, Amish dairy farmers are facing a tough time finding buyers for their milk.
Really?
Yeah.
It seems their commitment to traditional farming methods is bumping up against the realities of the modern food industry. It's a reminder that even the most self-sufficient communities can't completely escape the interconnectedness of the modern world.
Right. And it makes me think about those articles we have on modern-day homesteaders.
Yeah.
It's interesting to compare their motivations and approaches to those of the Amish.
Yeah, definitely some parallels,
Yeah.
but also some key differences.
Yeah. What are some of those?
Well, modern homesteaders often choose this lifestyle for environmental reasons.
Right.
Or to escape the pressures of city life. They might be looking to reduce their carbon footprint,
I see.
grow organic food.
Yeah.
It's often a very personal and intentional choice.
Right.
Whereas for the Amish, it goes beyond individual preference. Homesteading is deeply rooted in their faith, their history, and their very survival as a community.
So it's not a trend or a lifestyle choice.
Right. It's simply who they are. They've never really left that connection with the land.
Yeah.
That sense of working in harmony with nature's rhythms.
And that brings us back to that concept of Gelassenheit. It's not just about submitting to God's will.
Right.
It's also about accepting the challenges and blessings that come with working the land.
There's a humility in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
A recognition that they're not in control, that they're part of something larger than themselves.
Yeah.
And that extends to their reliance on community.
Speaking of community, those barn raisings are such a powerful symbol of that interdependence. It's not just about building a structure. It's about reinforcing the bonds that hold them together.
Yeah, it's about shared labor, shared responsibility, and a recognition that they're stronger together than they are alone. No individual takes credit. It's a collective achievement that strengthens their community.
But even with that communal strength, homesteading isn't easy. Those articles we read talk about the challenges, things like unpredictable weather, pest infestations, and the sheer amount of knowledge and skill required to make it work.
And for the Amish, those challenges are likely magnified by their limited use of technology. It requires a constant resourcefulness and a willingness to adapt and problem solve within their chosen framework.
It's fascinating how they manage to balance tradition with innovation. They're constantly evaluating how can we achieve this goal while staying true to our beliefs.
That diesel engine example comes to mind again.
Yeah.
It's a perfect illustration of their pragmatic approach. They're not afraid to embrace technology if it serves their needs without compromising their values.
It's this constant tension between the old and the new that makes their stories so compelling. They're rooted in the past, yet they're actively shaping their future.
It really makes you wonder, what will a 22nd century Amish community look like? Will they find new ways to integrate technology?
Right.
Will those horse-drawn buggies still be rolling down the road?
It's a question for another deep dive, perhaps, but for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We've explored the historical context of homesteading, the Amish beliefs that shape their unique approach, and the challenges and triumphs they face in a modern world.
We've seen how they've managed to maintain their distinct identity while adapting and evolving. It's a testament to their unwavering faith, their communal strength, and their profound respect for the land.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It does.
It challenges us to consider what we truly value and what we might be willing to let go of in pursuit of a more meaningful life.
Absolutely. Even if we're not ready to give up our smartphones and cars, there are lessons to be learned from the Amish approach to life. Their emphasis on community, simplicity, and connection to the land resonates with something deep within us, I think.
I think you're right. As we go about our busy lives, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more possessions, more technology, more experiences. The Amish remind us to pause and appreciate the simple things, the things that truly matter.
A home-cooked meal shared with loved ones.
Yeah.
A walk in nature.
For sure.
A conversation that nourishes the soul.
Right.
These are the things that bring lasting joy and fulfillment.
And maybe, just maybe their story inspires us to take a step back, to reevaluate our priorities and to consider what we might gain by embracing a simpler, more intentional way of life.
Perhaps it's about learning a new skill, connecting with our local community, or simply finding ways to reduce our reliance on technology, whatever it looks like for each of us.
Yeah.
The Amish remind us that there's more than one path to a meaningful life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of the Amish, we leave you with this thought-provoking question.
Okay.
What would your life look like if you embraced a simpler path? What would you be willing to give up?
Yeah.
And what might you gain in return?
Thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope it's sparked some curiosity and inspired you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around you.
See you next time.